BGJ.
Hottest games of the month.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike.
I'm Nick.
We are the Brothers Murph, and yes, it's time to talk about everything Board Game Geek, the hottest games of the month. Some Board Game Geek news. We have a couple of things that we've been enjoying over on Board Game Geek ourselves, and more. So let's get right into the news.
A bit of Board Game Geek news, a little bit of a twofer. This is going to be a store update. There's a big spring cleaning sale going on right now where there's like 75% off of like 150 products in the store, a little bit of spring cleaning, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already, because accessories and stuff can get a little expensive. Why not get a deal while you're at it? There's also some really, really cool upgraded bits from like Top Shelf Gamer for like Star Wars Unlimited and for things like Grand Austria Hotel, Dinosaur Island, some really great stuff. But it's the best time of the year because it is time for the BGG Artist Series. I am so excited. I love the BGG Artist Series. We've talked about it for years because we absolutely adore it. This year it's gonna be done a little bit differently. They're still gonna be like teasing them out. As of the time of recording this, they just teased out the first one. But these are actually coming to Kickstarter, so you'll be able to get them through Kickstarter. There'll be a link down in the description below for that. But I absolutely love the Artist Series. I think it's one of the coolest things in all of board gaming. It's just so cool to have your favorite board game artist having their take on like a poster for a game that they really enjoy. I just think it's really cool. Make sure to check out that and that spring cleaning sale.
So as you know, Board Game Geek has 2 conventions every year. They also have cruises, and these are all things you should definitely check out. And registration for BGG Con, which is in the fall, is now open. So if you're gonna be in and around Dallas in the fall, in November, come join us at BGG Con. It's super duper fun. We of course have BGG Spring before that, and the registration is also open for that, but get you some BGG Con for this fall. Registration is now open. And speaking of Board Game Geek and milestones and things like that, Board Game Geek just hit 4 million users. 4 million people use and have used Board Game Geek, which is really quite impressive. You know, Board Game Geek is, or board games in general it's a niche hobby. And so seeing Board Game Geek kind of be this great umbrella, this great thing that gathers people around is really cool. And hitting 4 million users, no matter what area of the world you occupy, is impressive. And I think Board Game Geek's done a great job in doing updates and stuff to bring even more people in.
So that was some Board Game Geek news, but we're all here for the hottest games of the month. So let's pop over there, let's talk about that hotness. This is Reginald. He loves the hotness.
He loves the hotness. He's here for it.
So we're going to talk about the hotness. Reginald, number 10? Number 10 is going to be Vantage.
Yes.
This was on last month. It's getting closer and closer to kind of coming out. This is the next big Jamey Stegmaier game from Stonemaier Games, but Jamey doesn't design. What was the last Jamey designed thing? Tapestry? Probably, right?
Gosh, it's been a while. I feel like maybe
it's been a minute.
We could be wrong about that.
Jamey's mostly developing nowadays, but they've been working on Vantage for a very long time now. And this is a really cool game. It's a cooperative game, not legacy game, where you are kind of like crash landed on this planet and you're all in different parts of the planet. And it's very POV, it's very point of view. So you can only see what's in front of you. So that's everything's from your vantage point. You're basically trying to like do things and trying to like find each other and all this kind of stuff, but you have to do it through like, I guess like communicating and trying to figure out where you are, because again, you can only see like what's directly around you.
Or you might only have access, I think, to like certain resources based on where you are.
Seems
and everything.
Super weird and interesting. Again, it's been like a 6-year process. I think Jamey says he's kind of had some videos come out on his channel about it. It seems super cool. Stonemaier games are always a very big deal when they drop, but this one seems particularly out there and super cool.
Yeah, I'm curious. Listen,
it's usually here.
Ark Nova is around.
We just played it the other day. It's still great.
We did just play it the other day. It is so great. Ark Nova is number 9 on the hotness. I think it's got even an extra bump by something we'll talk about a little bit later. But Ark Nova isn't, I mean,
it's one of the most played games every month. Again, it's you know, you're building the zoo.
It's a modern classic.
Gosh, like, it was 2021 when it came out.
I think so.
So I mean, at this point, it has been either in the hotness or just out of the hotness
for almost 4
since
straight
it came out, for like 4 straight years. It goes to show just how popular Ark Nova actually is.
Yeah.
In reality, it's like that's a huge indicator. It's like people are still talking about, people are still clicking on it, people are still doing all this stuff. They're still playing it. Again, it's like concurrently usually one of the most played games on BGA, which is kind of crazy for a big game like that. I mean, it's nuts. People love Ark Nova. We love Ark Nova. It's still out here. It's probably not going anywhere. So if you hate, llamas, sorry.
Next up is going to be the Lost Ruins of Arnak Adventure Chest, which is a big box with an expansion, I think called Twisted Paths expansion as well. So this is providing some new content for, we were talking about Ark Nova just now.
Yeah.
Lost Ruins of Arnak is always around the hotness as well.
Yeah.
Super popular, very well loved and supported game from CGE. So this is going to be a big box. We can fit everything that's currently out for Lost Ruins of Arnak, and also providing some additional material,
which will be nice because that game is very full right now. I mean, you can fit all the stuff in there, but it's got some lid lift. It's hard to parse through everything because there's a lot right now. So
it's nice to have an organization system.
Having some kind of organization is going to be great. And the fact that it's coming with an expansion, because I feel like a lot of times these big boxes, it's just the box, which is fine because, like, hey, a storage solution is a storage solution. But it's nice that there's also something along with this, which is pretty great. And so, people are super excited about it. We're super excited about it. Love CGE stuff. Love Lost Ruins of Arnak. And a little bit of storage solution will be great.
Next up is going to be SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence from CGE as well. This was their big release last year, their kind of Essen release. This is one that I think is just going to continue to be in the hotness for a while as it gets kind of into more and more people's hands, especially over here in the States. And this is one where you are sending out probes into space and landing and orbiting the planets in our solar system in search of alien life. And so you're finding traces, of life and things like that. You will actually discover 2 different alien races that will change out from game to game. That's going to give you new ways you can kind of score points and interact with, different elements on the board. There's kind of some like engine building because there's these like technologies you can get that make your actions cheaper, or they chain together more things that happen. There's all sorts of ways to score points in this game. There really is like a million different little ways you can score points, and you're just trying to eke out more points than anybody else. And
it's really good. I really enjoy it.
We're fans, big personal fans.
I gotta imagine it's gonna stick around for a while, especially if they expand upon it, which I assume they will. I gotta imagine there's gonna be more aliens coming, right? And so it's like that will keep it around. It's just, I think it's really fun. It's just smooth. Each individual action, like you're saying, is very simple. It's just like, it just works really well. I love the look of the big spinning board. I'm super into astronomy in general. So like it checks a lot of boxes for ya boy. Next up is going to be Echoes of Time. This is a card game by Simone Luciani and Roberto Pellei. Simone Luciani games are always very popular and stuff like that. It's by Cranio Creations, and it's got incredibly beautiful art.
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
Yeah, gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. But it's a little card game where in like, I guess in the world, there's like these various like power sources, and you're kind of vying for control over these kind of like, I guess like inexhaustible power sources. Like they're kind of not really gonna go away.
Cool.
So you're playing cards, and I'm not entirely sure, especially what you're doing, but I know there's like each individual factions within the cards. They say there's like over like 100 different cards, so there's like lots of different synergies. I think it's gonna be just like a card game where it's like, you're playing out cards, you're gonna be constructing like different decks every single time because of the way the cards work and stuff like that. But it seems like that's what you're doing. You're playing out these cards, kind of vying for control over these various powers. And yeah, there's not a ton of information out there, but it's got a really cool cover. Again, the art is absolutely beautiful.
The art is definitely making a splash.
Yeah, and with anything with Simone Luciani is always going to be popular, right? Yeah. And then so, yeah, I'm really excited for it because I like their designs, and it looks really pretty.
Next up is going to be Galactic Cruise.
You just played the other day.
I did play it the other day. Our copy and many other people's copies are arriving from crowdfunding. It's now fulfilling. And so it's back in the hotness. This is a game that's inspired by Vitalis Cerda's designs, where you are, a company that's building spaceships and mounting these galactic cruises. You're advertising to guests and stuff. Yeah. You're going to distant planets and stuff for these kind of amazing vacations, and you are the company behind it that's managing your money and your ads and everything like that, and building rockets for these cool trips and stuff. So this is one that we played about a year ago, and now played the final product, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's just really fun. There's a lot of ways you can kind of build things out and kind of try to, you know, maybe hyper specialize on a certain type of guest I want to have. Like my ships be all good for like family guests and things like that. Or you can kind of make these blends and stuff like that. You can develop technologies to make your life a little bit easier, kind of develop your infrastructure, and really is kind of a lot of fun things going on, and an amazing production with Tool art and graphic design, so it just like looks clean.
It's one of the best covers in the game. It's just so good.
It's just awesome. So it's super fun, really fantastic production, and it's now getting in people's hands.
Yeah. It's just Quacks now.
Listen.
It's just Quacks.
It's just Quacks.
It's just Quacks.
You duck.
You duck? Yeah, you're not. Turn this way. You don't even get it. Yeah, still no ducks in the game. Again, I think a missed
opportunity.
Missed opportunity. There should have been at least one duck in the game, but whatever.
So Quacks of Quedlinburg, which everyone just called Quacks anyway, is now just Quacks.
Yes, it is now just Quacks.
And we all just call it
it moved over to CMYK Games.
Yep.
And they're kind of bringing it back and bringing it, I think, to a little bit more of a mass market, and they've very much changed up the look. It almost looks like claymation kind of art. I don't think it is.
I really
but that's
like
kind of what it looks. I personally like it.
Really cool.
The art's been kind of divisive. I personally think it looks fine. But there are like 3 different covers to it, and it's kind of like the main one is like kind of a wizardy looking guy, like because something's exploding. But otherwise, it's just Quacks. Like it's just Quacks of Quedlinburg, which is a very popular game. Has been for a while. And so this one seems cool. I'm excited that it's going to be getting probably to slightly more of a mass market. I do think this new look will appeal to more of a mass market audience. I really like the old look with like Dennis Lohausen art was really good, but it's not necessarily the most appealing thing like say like a Target or a Walmart or something like that. This is going to appeal more to like mass marketing people. But yeah, they're bringing it back, and they're just calling it Quacks now because that's what everyone called it anyway. So
there's actually a video here on Board Game Geek that W. Eric Martin did, kind of talking about those things, and he made an interesting point that I agree with, saying that like the original one, while great, is decidedly European.
Yes.
And not everybody gets old European towns, and so by switching this, making it again, kind of aimed toward the mass market will probably be a good thing ultimately. And there's also 3 versions. There's kind of the base version, a version that has both expansions in the box, and then kind of like a super deluxe version that has the upgraded kind of
stuff,
bits and stuff as well. So you can kind of get the version that suits you. And I'm excited because Quacks is a game that should be out there. I think it's really good for
I think it's really appealing
people.
to a wide range of people, right?
Yeah, so we're just happy to see it be getting out there more.
Number 3 is going to be Scales of Fate. Scales of Fate is a new game by Ivy Studios. It's on crowdfunding right now, I believe. It is on crowdfunding right now. At least at the time of recording this. And this is the like 2-player version of Veiled Fate, which is also by Ivy Studios, which is kind of a social deduction game, although it's kind of one of those games where it's like if you get kind of found out, it's not like the end of the world. So that's not necessarily like the purpose of it. And this is like a 2-player version of that called Scales of Fate that we've gotten a chance to play and we both really enjoyed. There are 9 different demigods in the game. There are that way in Failed Fate as well. And you're essentially giving 2 of them at random, but both of you are each given 2, but you could potentially have the same demigods that you're kind of like worshiping or whatever. And you're basically on the score track, the renown track, you want them to be as far apart as possible because you'll score points based off of the difference between your 2 demis. So you're basically trying to gain renown to one of the demis and hopefully potentially lose renown to the other one. Or if they end up on the same spot on the renown track, you will gain the points of that spot. So if you end up on 8, you'll gain 8 points, which is a lot. So it's really good to try to do that, but if you don't quite get that, then your score is going to be like 1 or 2.
It's risk reward.
So it's this thing where you're trying to deduce what other people have, but they also might have the same thing as you. So sometimes one of them is like pushing up your person, and you're like, all right, that's fine with me. But again, if they find out what you have, it's not the end of the world. They'll score points if they guess correctly, but it's not the end of the world, which I really like. I like deduction games where it's like the deduction isn't the end all be all. You know what I mean? It's like,
so it's a nice thing to do, but it's not the only, it's not the victory condition. Right?
But yeah, it's cool. I really like Scales of Fate. I think it's really, really fun, and it's really quick. It's like 20, 30 minutes, you know? And for a little 2-player kind of deduction-y game, it's good.
Our next up is Molly House.
I'm excited to try this one.
Yeah, I really want to try this one. This next one from Cole Worley, Whirligig Games, and This is about the infamous Molly House, which was a kind of safe haven for the queer community in London.
Yeah.
And you're kind of trying to find queer joy. You're trying to live your best,
like
most
masquerades and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're living your truest life and stuff. But there's the Society for the Reformation of Manners who are going around with their enforcers and trying to break you up, get you thrown in jail and stuff like that. So you might need to bribe or become an informant even for these people as they try to stand in the way of your truth.
Yeah.
We personally, I think it's a super cool theme for the game.
The theme is top tier,
I think it's really fantastic, and Cole Worley, is just one of our better designers out there doing awesome stuff. So I'm really happy to see this theme show up in a game, and I can't wait to try it myself and getting kind of more into those types of games and PAX Premiere and things like that. So I want to dive in and see, how I do, because I feel like I'm headed that way in gaming. So this is like again a really cool theme that I think can kind of help pull you in. It's also on the shorter side, about 45 to 90 minutes, depending on player count and stuff like that. And you can solo it as well. Yes. So I'm like,
it's very cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited to try it. We're gonna be playing it at BGG Spring.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to do that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. Again, like I'm not a massive Cole Worley game fan. Cole Worley the person's great.
Yeah.
But just like his games don't really speak to me too much. But this one I'll play just because of the theme,
Yeah.
And so I really want to try it. And hopefully this is the Cole Worley game that I really like.
And maybe it's gonna bring you in.
Maybe it'll bring me in.
Man.
The Cole-verse, right?
Come on. Get the whirly gigs. Become a whirly gig, man.
Number one is going to be Sanctuary. They announced a new Ark Nova game.
This is what we've seen some of recently. It's a smaller, kind of more streamlined experience based on the core mechanisms of Ark Nova.
Yeah, this one's based all around tiles, like hex tiles, which again, you put hex tiles on your main board in Ark Nova.
But it's a card-driven game.
Yes, and so these are the cards. These are like the animals you're putting into play. You still have the action cards, and they will still have powers to them where they kind of have a strength depending on where they are.
The longer they stay in the queue, the more powerful they become, kind of thing.
So there's like one project card, and there's like 3 animal cards, because now you're playing animals from like the forest or for like the mountains, so it's a card for that. But it seems like it's a lot of Ark Nova stuff, but a lot of kind of stuff taken out and making it streamlined. But I'm guaranteeing there's some differences too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's more Ark Nova. People are gonna be excited about it. It's gonna sell like hotcakes. I'm very excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
What it is it kind of is it gonna feel like a bit like an Ark Nova Lite, but you can play a lot faster, because I'm also down with that.
And I also wonder, with it being kind of mostly about the tile placement, is there like adjacency stuff? Because in the bigger parent version, Ark Nova, where things go and what they're next to don't really matter a ton. So it'd be really cool to see if it gets into that, because I think that could be really neat. Kind of be like the midpoint between like Baron Park and Ark Nova.
Yeah.
This might be it. We'll have to see more, but I definitely think it's going to be very popular.
Just probably
because Ark Nova is a great game and it's based on a great game. So you got to hope that it's great as well. Right. So we'll find out more. But yeah, as soon as it got announced, people were like, wait, is this like an Ark Nova thing? We're like, yeah. They're like, okay, now we're going to go right to the old top of the hotness there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is the hotness. So Sanctuary is going to be pretty darn popular. So the end of the hotness, we always talk about the most played games of the month. So again, you can log your plays on BGG. Please do that. You can also do like through BGA, through things like board game stats. There's ways to kind of make it more efficient to do so. But so the 10 most played games in order are Trio. Has 7,900. It's usually like 11 or 12. It doesn't usually pop quite in there. This is like Nana, the new version of Nana, basically. 7,900. Sea Salt and Paper, which is usually here, 7,973. Azul had 8,268. Far Away with 9,138. Forest Shuffle has 9,170. Marvel Champions, the card game, has 9,183. Sky Team has 11,109.
That's a jump.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, we're already in the 10,000s. It's pretty crazy. Ark Nova, of course, is always here, has 12,229. Harmonies has 12,254. And the top is Fellowship Ring Trick Taking Game, which has 13,719.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that's kind of crazy. Like that one and Marvel Champions are probably, my guess, is the only ones that are there that are there physical, right? Because the rest are all on BGA.
Sure, which
so it's pretty crazy like that people are playing that trick take game. Now granted, it's a campaign game, so you're playing multiple games in a row, right?
Yeah, if you count every round as its own game, which
technically is, yeah, right?
It'll pump those numbers, but like you don't get to 13,000 without it being played quite a lot.
Yeah.
Even with the kind of short round nature. So those are the most played games. As we said, log your plays here on Board Game Geek. A lot of times we use like BG Stats personally. You can import your plays from BGA automatically and stuff. It's really useful. So get them plays logged so you can help change the stats and the numbers of what you see here. So my Murph Pick is gonna be a blog post by Tim Tucker talking about gamifying chores. And they essentially created a no thanks bidding system for their 2 kids in order to determine who's gonna carry out what chores. Now, if you're not familiar with no thanks, it's kind of an anti-bidding game where you will spend chips to not take cards. And it's a closed economy. So there's only so many chips, or they have these balls they use. And if you don't have balls to spend or you're not willing to spend too many, you have to then take the card and no thanks. Or in this case, if you don't want to bid anymore, you can decide, okay, I'll do the chore. Say it's mowing the lawn. And you collect all the balls that were in the bid. And so now you have kind of a cache of these, balls to bid with. So when you get a chore that you really don't want to do, now you have that spending power to make sure that you can outbid your brother or sister, whoever it is, to avoid doing the chore. I think it's kind of a fun way to kind of bring some playfulness to the proceedings of having to do these chores and stuff. And it kind of, I think, helps, create like, okay, I'm doing the chore, but I feel like I won something as a result. And you can like, again, sort of, it's a way to communicate like, I really don't want to do this thing. I'm willing to spend my hard-earned balls that don't actually have any monetary value or anything like that to make sure I don't do this. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's something you can kind of track over time. I think it's really neat, and it's kind of got me thinking for the future when I have my daughter start doing more chores and stuff, like how can I create games and have some fun with it to, not make it feel like so much of a chore. Chores are chores, but you don't want it to feel like a chore to do the chore.
My Murph pick is going to be by Layla Drake, and this is a game of the month kind of display that they made. It's very, very simple, but they were kind of talking about how they really want to display some of the prettier games that they have, or like maybe their favorite game of the time. And they kind of asked their significant other, like, well, like, how should we do this? And they were like, I don't know, like pick a game of the month and kind of switch it out when you want to. So they went to IKEA and got like a little tablet holder, just like a little wooden tablet holder that they can put on the shelf and kind of just display a game. And it's like, hey, this is the game that I'm super, super into right now. And I just thought that was super, super cute. I thought it was super cool. Other people down in the comments have done a couple similar things. They kind of show off one of their games. But I think it's a really cool thing to be like, hey, this is my game of the month. This is a game I'm really, really into, or this is a game that I think is particularly pretty, and just kind of have it on its own little display within the shelf. I thought it was super cute. I really, really love stuff like that. We're constantly talking about little DIY things or ways to kind of like show off your love for the hobby. And I think this is a really, really cool one by Layla Drake. All right, so at the end of the video, we always talk about our personal favorite games that we played this month. We played a whole bunch of bangers, which like Dice Tower West. We played month. Like combined was like over 100 games this month between BGA and Real Plays. So like it was a big, big month. What was your favorite, Mikey?
My favorite is gonna be Imperium Horizons, or the Imperium games in general.
Super into this game right now.
I am really into this. This is a deck building game where you are a specific civilization. So I played like the Macedonians from Imperium Classics, and then the Mayans and the Japanese, and there's also like mythical characters, Atlanteans and Martians and stuff like that.
Cultists.
And you are going to have like a civilization and kind of a starting deck of cards, and you are going to be deck building and cycling through your deck to kind of progress your civilization. Each civilization is kind of its own puzzle. Has its own ways that you should probably play and stuff to maximize your scoring opportunities. There's also all these common cards you can get and kind of build out a strategy even more from there. I think it's super duper fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool to explore how each faction is different because they are quite different from each other. and it's just a cool puzzle every time to be like, okay, how do I get this engine online and start kind of generating those points and stuff for the end game. Super duper cool. There's a ton of content to explore because
these are 3 games.
All 3 Imperium games are completely cross compatible. Yeah, I'm really enjoying exploring it. I just want to dive even deeper in.
It's an all-time game for me as well. I really, really like it. My favorite is going to be a solo game by John DeClaire. He actually did a designer diary recently for you. You should check that out. This would be for Unstoppable. Unstoppable is, again, a solo game by John DeClaire in Renegade Games. They have a series of solo games called the Solo Hero series. Like Kane Klanko has done one, Scott Alm's done one, John DeClaire now has done one. It's really, really fun. It's like deck building, a little bit of card crafting, which John DeClaire is known for, but it's got this really cool thing where like it's a deck builder, and a lot of times deck builders, you inherently draw cards, but in this game you don't. You basically, almost all of your card draws come from beating enemies, because every time you get a new card, or all the cards you have on the back side of the card in the sleeve is some kind of threat, some kind of enemy.
Right.
So when they're out on the battlefield and you're fighting them, whenever you defeat them, that will then flip over to the side that you can use and it'll come into your hand. You can then also upgrade those cards, but a lot of times you'll upgrade them for yourself, but it'll also upgrade the enemy on the other side. And as you're gaining these new cards, you don't get to see what enemy's on the other side. So when you get a new card, which you get a new card every round, you take a new card, sleeve it in with an enemy with the enemy's face down, and then you just put it into your hand. So you don't ever flip it over or see it until when your discard pile is done, you will then shuffle it up and then put it as your threat deck. And so then eventually they'll start coming through. It's really, really fun. I like it a lot. We love John DeClaire's games. John DeClaire is awesome, and this game is super, super fun. If you like solo games, make sure to check it out.
I really want to check it out, man. I'm jealous you've played it and I haven't. Those are some picks from us, some things on Board Game Geek this last month that we enjoyed, but let us know in the comments, what are the games that you've been most interested that you've seen, whether or not they were on the hotness, what are the favorite things you played this month. Make sure you log those plays so they show up on BGG's kind of stats and everything like that. And we'll see y'all next month.
Bye, everybody.